So what head are we going to put on this 25 inch, 24 inch? I don't remember what length we were at. Just over, so it's like 24 and a half. What head are we going to put on this white 24 inch white oak handle? They had lots of options. We had the Kelly Perfect, or World's Finest, the Flint Edge, the Man, the Craftsman, the Gambles, and lots of you guys weighed in and gave your opinion, and I really appreciate it. But I'm not going with any of them. I'm sorry. Better to ask for forgiveness than permission, right? I just found this head at the flea market yesterday. I cleaned it up. You can check out that video. And it is a Spiller. So made in Maine, made in Oakland, Maine. You can see here the date stamp, 1952. It was very likely made by Emerson and Stevens, same manufacturer that made. I'm pointing like you guys can see it, but sitting at the back of the bench is this guy here, the Jersey Boys axe. Very likely made by the same folks. You can see here that is stamped P for the person that tempered it. I believe it's Percy. I can't remember the last name. Try to throw a picture of it up there. But yeah, their comment. Yeah, so it's a super cool Maine wedge pattern. And I couldn't help but think this is going to look really good on that handle. I don't know if it's a Hunter's Axe model. I'm not 100% sure. One of my other axe buddies was suggesting that. I'm not 100% sure, but I know it's cool. And I think it'll look good on this this white oak. All of these will get hung eventually. Maybe. Probably. I don't know. But they can be future projects. But we're going with the Spiller. So if you guessed that, you're right. Alright, let's get after it. So, my previously drawn center line was a little off, so I'm just eyeballing it right now. So I'm just going to kind of make a point to where that eye should be. Alright, so it's looking pretty decent at the front. Got to round over the back here a little. It's the hardest, most nerve-wracking part, in my opinion. Well, besides the final hang. So we're looking pretty straight there. That's looking pretty good too. So start seating this. Oh. Well, that is just about the worst thing that could happen to an axe. But it chipped my concrete. Here, we'll bring in. Here's actually the piece of concrete that it chipped up. So that is one hell of a temper. It dropped right on the toe. Right on the toe. Dulled it a tiny bit, but other than that, not worse for the wear at all. That is an impressive temper. The pucker factor was at an all-time high, and it seems like it's fine. All right, so I'm gonna do this part over the bench like I usually do, but see, I shouldn't have swept the shop floor there. Should have left the layer of shavings. It's protective measure. All right, that's fitting nice already. Way too open, but we can close that up. We're just getting some contact marks here. Alright, we'll bring it back when we're a little closer, getting it down further on the tongue. Alright, so I'm just working on blending in the shoulder a little bit more here. Alright, I think that transition into the back of the shoulder here looks a lot more natural now. I like it. I might put a little bit more curve in it, but I think it's looking pretty good for right now. The handle's a little bit thinner here than it is kind of the rest of the way, so once I kind of get further along with getting it hung, I might kind of thin it out a little bit in this direction too. But overall, it's feeling really good. I'm happy with how it's looking. Feels really good. Getting pretty good contact. I'll probably drop it a little bit lower still, but we're getting there. I think that's about as low as I'm going to take it. I might go just a touch lower after sanding, but I think that's about it. We've got a little bit of gap at the back here again. It seems to be a lot of these main axes that I'm dealing with have this kind of tapered back to the pole, same as the Emerson and Stevens jersey that I was just doing. But We've got good contact up front, good contact inside the eye. We'll get a lot better contact once we get that wedge in there and spread it around. We're out, so looking pretty good here. We will spread this wider and then fill it front to back with a wedge. Alright, so we're at the point where I'm happy with most everything about it. So I've got the head seated down about as far as I want to go. I really don't want to get any closer to that shoulder. Like I said before in previous parts of the video, it looks like there's a little gap at the back of the eye and on the one side here a little bit. Just up beyond that is getting contact inside the eye, so it's just the fact that the bottom of the eye is a little wonky from the taper, because they're hand forged. Punched with the drift and it probably didn't go in 100% straight, which is okay. We're getting good contact inside the eye, lots of contact, so I'm okay with that. I've got the handle shaped up where I'm happy with it. I thinned it down just a little bit in this direction. You still see we've still got some tool marks and stuff on it, so I'm just going to give it a sanding with 100 grit, then hit it with 220, and then burnish it. So let's do that. So it also might look kind of odd that I'm sanding on my my legs, but I like doing that better than like resting against the bench, because the bench is a little bit dirty and a lot of times it ends up leaving little like scuff marks on the handle. So I kind of rest it against my legs here and get the sanding done. I'm making this axe handle. I carved it out of a piece of wood. Wow. Do you want to hold it?
How did you do that?
Well, I used the bandsaw to cut it out, and then I shaped it up. And I used the draw knife to take a bunch of shavings off. Wow. And now I'm just about done. And I'm just giving it its final sanding. Let's see. I'm gonna use this this axe head on it.
I got a question.
Yeah. This is my sander. It's got sandpaper on the bottom, and it's called a random orbital sander, and it moves this around, goes, and you can rub it on the wood to sand it.
Can I hear it?
Yeah, you want to press the button to turn it on? It's that little switch right there. It vibrates too, so it's going to jiggle a little bit right here. Other side, yep. and it sucks up all the sawdust and blows it into this little container.
Ah.
See? It's all full of sawdust.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, can I use it?
Well, Daddy needs to finish up doing this handle. Can I do that first?
All right, you can finish up.
All right.
I'm just gonna build something at my workbench.
Sure, you can go build something at your workbench.
All right.
Do you mind the noise, or is it okay?
I don't mind the noise.
Okay, good. So we've got our handle all sanded up. I don't exactly remember where I left off, you guys. I remember that we were in here in the shop, and my son came out and visited, so we ended up pausing. But the palm swell here, scroll end, is all sanded up. Got it burnished. The handle in general is burnished. So I'm super happy with how that's coming out. I think it's going to look really nice when it's all oiled up. So we're at the point where I need to make a wedge. So I've got some cherry here. It's actually the offcut of one of the boards I sent. They're blanks. I sent Ryan. So, Lionhead Restorations. So I love working with cherry. It smells so nice when you sand it and work with it. Got a nice fat wedge here for this little head, but it is wider than what we need because I just sanded it up and I didn't measure it yet. So we're gonna try to get this fit properly. We're gonna try to get it fitting nicely. See there, just got it marked off. We'll zip it on the bandsaw. Probably stay on the heavy side of the line. Take a kind of a leave the line, so that way I can kind of plane up to it and get it fitting nicely. I'll use my little block plane. All right, so we've got my little block plane. It's Stanley number 60.5. I really like using this for shaping down wedges. See this guy here? Just a tad bit thick, which is exactly what I wanted. Now we'll kind of tailor make it to the head. So fit into about there, so we'll take a little bit off the back here. See, without too much force, we're right where we want to be. And then once we actually drive it in a little bit further, we'll get right to that 3/4 mark that we want to be at. Alright, so the wedge is made up, our handle's all good. Only thing left to do now is just seat it. We've got our little palm spell saver there. Make sure it's not going to fall off here. And then I'm just going to seat it. I think it's useful, the little palm spell saver. It's just a couple scraps of leather riveted together. I know I've shown it in other videos. So, let's do it. Couple more little hits here. It's looking pretty good. Bring you over and show you. So it's looking like a pretty good tight fit up front there. Just the tiniest little bit of curl, not nearly anything enough to make a, call it a shelf, just a tiny little bit of curl. Got that little bit of gap at the back just from that oddly shaped, oddly drifted eye. But if you can look in there, you can look at my flashlight here, hang on. Oh, gotta replace my batteries. Alright, guess you're not looking in there. But either way, maybe about 1/4 inch up in there, we're making contact. And then on this side, same deal here. So if you look here, it almost looks like the bit is a little bit of a closed hang, but if you follow the line of the bit, it's actually hung pretty squarely, not open or closed. The top of the axe is kind of oddly shaped, so it kind of gives it an appearance that it's a little bit more close of a hang than it really is. But it looks cool. I don't know. I think I like it. So I think we are ready for our wedge. Yeah. Let's do it. Last time I messed this up and I did not hit record, so hopefully I don't mess it up again. I almost did again. I just started talking to you guys without hitting record. So we've got our axe hung. We just need to drive the wedge. Got our cherry wedge. I did thin it out just a little bit more on the belt sander just because there really isn't much of a gap to fill side to side. So I didn't want it to reach maximum compression before we were deep enough, so I did thin it out just a little bit more. Got a couple hammers here. Got my usual 16-ounce ball peen that I like a lot. Also got my rounding hammer. Let's hope it works. Definitely the most nerve-wracking part of the hang, in my opinion, is driving the wedge. One of the things that I usually do that I didn't do this time is just draw a line on it so I know when it's bottomed out. It was about 1/4 of an inch from the top is when it's bottomed out, so I know when I get to about there. If I hit that, I've bottomed out the curve, and I haven't reached maximum compression yet, so hopefully it stops, just before that. All right, so we had our wedge fracture, right? I'm okay with that. I'm really okay with that. If you know what I mean by that, bring it closer. My wedge split. And if you see, it's right along. I like cutting the wedges with the growth rings going this way to help facilitate these fractures. So that way, if the front half or the back half need to go in further to get a little more compression, it can do that, right? The wedge isn't one piece anymore, it's two now. So we can drive them in separate depths to get even better compression. So it might look a little wonky right now, but it'll look just fine when we drive them both in and cut it off. So trust the process. Don't freak out. This is okay. Yeah, you can see that back half, it didn't want to move anymore, but the front half is still going in. When things don't want to move, sometimes you get a bigger hammer, right? Let's see if we can get a little more compression out of the back here. So now our wedge is actually fractured into 1, 2, 3, we'll call it 4 pieces. Again, I am okay with that. As long as pieces don't... This is why I really like cutting my own wedges and splitting them too, because I can make sure the grain runs continuous from one length of the wedge to the end of the wedge. If you cut a wedge where the growth rings, or the grain runs off to the side, like say there's a better to point with. Say if the growth ring ran from here and then out that way, you run the risk of chunking off a piece of your wedge, and then what are you going to do with it? You know what I mean? You either have to pull the wedge or try to drive a secondary one in on top of it. It could get messy, but if you cut your wedges so that the growth rings or the grain runs from top to bottom, kind of ideally like when you have an axe handle, right? You can fracture those wedges and turn it into multiple wedges as you're driving it and get a lot better success, I think. Your mileage may vary, take it for what it's worth. It's just something that I've found to be useful and I like doing. See now, yeah, I was able to drive this back wedge in just a little bit deeper than in the middle where we're getting compression, or more compression. And as you drive the back end, you might be reducing the compression in on the front, so you might be able to drive the front one in a little bit more too. It's almost like when you're tightening down something in a bolt pattern, right? You want to go on those alternating sides, because as you're walking it down and walking it in, you're freeing up pressure that can let other things tighten down more. If that makes sense. If you've ever tightened down like a, I don't know, I'm probably rambling, but if you do anything mechanically, you probably know what I'm talking about. Alright, see there? I'm done. Alright, so take it over the bandsaw, cut it fairly flush, and we'll see. Not super flush, but we'll leave it brown just a little bit. And the palm swell saver, see, like, if I'd have had that bouncing off, I mean, you saw how hard I was hitting it, and how much it was bouncing off the ground. The palm swells, a little discolored from the compression, but other than that, it's really completely unharmed. So we've got those fractures. We're in good shape. We'll cut it close, see where we're at. That'll clean up nicely. And you can see here, well, you were able to see here, just how those multiple pieces of that wedge fractured, right? Exactly what I wanted. The same thing happened inside the eye. So it looks like, when it's compressed all there and there, it looks like it's continuous, but we actually got multiple pieces. Exactly what we were looking for. And because it was supposed to be bottomed out in about 1/4 of an inch, right? So we probably only have 1/4 of an inch before we were bottomed out in that curve. With how hard I was hitting that and how much it compressed, I am perfectly happy with that. I don't think we need... I don't know. I'd rather it... In my opinion, I would rather it stop just shy of that bottom of the curve than be completely bottomed out and not know if we have good enough compression. So, alright, enough rambling. We'll clean this up. And you cannot see, bring you even closer. You cannot see significantly where those wedges fractured. There's one right about there, one about there, a couple at the back here. But what you're seeing is mostly bandsaw lines. Alright, so this here is 220. This is 400. looking pretty good, I think. The grain on that cherry is just super cool. So now that it's sanded up more, you can see. Yeah, I gotta clean my knife. I know. You can see those spots where it did fracture. Right there, right there, right there. I thought there was another one in there, but maybe right there. Either way, you can see those fractures, but just barely. I suspect that once we get oil on it, you won't be able to see them anymore. So, yep. Look at that. Look at that. The grain on that cherry. Just super cool. Man, the grain on that cherry just is crazy looking. That end grain. Those stripes are definitely the grain. It's not any kind of optical illusions. Those aren't sanding lines. That's perfectly smooth. That is the grain of that cherry. See those rays in the white oak and then that grain. So that's cool. All right. I think this handle is going to be really awesome when we oil it up too. So that next. Alright, so throw a little oil on this here. Let that white oak drink it up. This is dry stuff, so. Alright. Man, it's turning a nice color. I like it. That was way too much that came out. That's alright. This handle's drinking it up, so keep oiling it. And the color's really not coming across on camera, but it really is like a nice honey color. And those rays on the back of the handle look super cool. You can kind of see them there a little bit. The sheen from the oil's making them harder to see, but alright, I'm gonna keep at this for a bit, and then come back to you guys. Give you a closer look once it's all done. Alright, so I'm happy with how this came out. If you remember when we started, I wanted to kind of replicate this this black locust handle on this Tommy axe that I carved, but I wanted to dress up this palm swell a little bit and make it a little fancier. I think we achieved that. I think I picked a good head for it. This Spiller is super cool. 1953, 52. I think it's super cool. I think the grain on this white oak looks awesome. I think the rays in it look super cool. Let's see if we'll be able to see, but the hang on it is dead straight. It's really hard to tell. You don't have the camera facing straight on, but yep, dead straight. So I'm happy with that. That little gap at the back, but overall, I'm just not too worried about that. It feels really good in the hand. The handle is nice and thin. I think it'll feel really good. Doing a little kindling splitting. I'm happy with how the palm swell came out. I really like it, especially for kind of carving from scratch. So yeah, those rays on that white oak are just super cool. I like it. I liked working with the white oak a lot. It's a shame it's expensive. Yeah, that wedge came out good. It cracked at the very front and the very back, but I'm not worried about it. This is mine. It's a user. It's gonna be a user. You can see the rays in the end there. So. Super cool. I like it. I also like working with black locust too, but it's definitely hard to find in good quantities. That's straight and doesn't have inclusions in it. And as you can see, this piece that I have here has got some bark inclusions. It's holding up great, but yeah, it's tough stuff. So, thank you for watching, everyone. I appreciate it. This is the first full, I think this is the first full handle carving video series, I guess, we did on the channel. So, yeah, I like it. We still got that whole big board of hickory, got some more white oak, so we'll do some more in the future too, for sure. So, let me know what you guys think of it. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you're super upset that I ended up picking this head for it. I didn't pick one of the other heads. All those other heads that I did initially suggest for this handle, they're not going anywhere. They're staying in the collection, so we'll do some other things with them. Hang them on some of the other handles we have. Still have the pack handle, 24 pack. Still have the that 24-inch boy's axe handle that I got from Nick, Mountain Man Axes. So lots more fun stuff in store. Let me know what you think I should work on next. I'm not really sure. Don't have anything, any new big projects planned yet, so let me know what you guys think. Alright. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching.